Mantras of our Divine Mother. Our Divine Mother says our mind must be silent and quiet, but our heart must be full of an ardent aspiration. With my love and blessing, says our Divine Mother. Words of our Divine Mother taken from the question and answers of 1929-31, date 26th May 1929, page 62. Question, Sweet Mother, what are the conditions in the psychic world? How is it situated with regards to the hostile forces? For this, our Divine Mother says, the psychic world or the plane of consciousness is that part of the world. The psychic being is that part of the being which is directly under the influence of the divine consciousness. The hostile forces cannot even have the remotest action upon it. It is a world of harmony, and everything moves in it from light to light and from progress to progress. It is the seat of the divine consciousness. It is the seat of the divine consciousness, the divine self in the individual being. It is a center of light and truth and knowledge and beauty and harmony in which the divine self in each one of you creates by his presence. Little by little, it is influenced, formed and moved by the divine consciousness of which it is a part and parcel. Our Divine Mother says, it is in each one of you, the deep inner being, which you have to find out in order that you may come in contact with the divine in you. It is the intermediary between the divine consciousness and your external consciousness. It is the builder of the inner life. It is that which manifests in the outer nature, the order and the rule of the divine will. If you become aware in your outer consciousness of the psychic being within you and unite with it, you can find the pure eternal consciousness and live in it. Instead of being moved by the ignorance as the human being constantly is, you grow aware of the presence of an eternal light and knowledge within you, and to it you surrender, and you are integrally consecrated to it and moved by it in all things. Our Divine Mother says, for your psychic being is that part of you which is already given to the divine. It is its influence gradually spreading from within towards the most outward and material boundaries of your consciousness that will bring about the transformation of your entire nature. There can be no obscurity here. It is the luminous part in you. Our Divine Mother says, most people are unconscious of this psychic part within them. The effort of yoga, especially integral yoga, is to make you conscious of that psychic being, so that the process of your transformation instead of a slow labor extending through centuries, can be pressed into one life or even a few years. Our Divine Mother says, the psychic being is that which persists after death because it is your eternal self. It is this that carries the consciousness forward from life to life. The psychic being is the real individuality of the true and the divine individual within you. For your individuality means your special mode of expression, and your psychic being is a special aspect of the one divine consciousness that has taken shape in you. But in the psychic consciousness, there is not that sense of division between the individual and the universal consciousness which affects the other parts of your nature. You are conscious there. You are conscious there that your individuality is your own line of expression, but at the same time, you know too that it is in an expression objectifying the one universal consciousness. It is as though you had taken a portion out of yourself and put it in front of you, and there were a mutual look and play of moment between the two. Our Divine Mother says this duality was necessary in order to create and establish the objectivized relation and to enjoy it. But in your psychic being, the separation that sharpens the duality is seen to be an illusion, an appearance, and nothing more.
Leaving the past far behind us, let us run towards the luminous future. Lord, the year is dying, and our gratitude bows down to Thee. Lord, the year is reborn, our prayer rises up to Thee. Let it be for us also the dawn of a new life. Que la naissance de la nouvelle année soit une nouvelle naissance pour notre conscience, laissant le passé loin derrière nous, courons vers un avenir lumineux. Seigneur, l'année se meurt et notre gratitude s'incline devant toi. Seigneur, l'année renaît et notre prière s'élève vers toi. Que cela soit pour nous aussi l'aurore d'une vie nouvelle. Superno in antarikshanyakhyat gavir vepahaya surah sunitha kvedanim suryah kashchiketa katamavyam rashmirasya tatana.
Question, sweet mother, is there a difference between the spiritual, the psychic? Question, sweet mother, is there a difference between the spiritual and the psychic? Are they different planes? For this, our Divine Mother says, yes, the psychic plane belongs to the personal manifestation. The psychic is that which is divine in you, put out to be dynamic in the play. But when we speak of the spiritual, we are thinking of something that is concentrated in the divine rather than in the external manifestation. The spiritual plane is something static behind and above the outward play. It supports the instrument of the nature, but it is not itself included or involved in the external manifestation here. Our Divine Mother says, but in speaking of these things, one must be careful not to be imprisoned by the words we use. When I speak of the psychic or the spiritual, when I speak of the psychic or the spiritual, I mean things that are very deep and real behind the flat surface of the words and intimately connected in their difference. Intellectual definitions and distinctions are too external and rigid to seize the true truth of things. And yet, unless you are very much in the habit of speaking to one another, there is almost a necessity of defining the sense of your words if you are to understand each other. The ideal condition for a conversation is when the minds are so well attuned that the words are only a support for the spontaneous mutual understanding and you need not explain at each step what you utter. This is the advantage when you talk always with the same person. An attuned harmony is established between the minds and the significance of things spoken penetrates them at once. Our Divine Mother says, there is a world of ideas without form, and it is there that you must enter if you want to seize what is behind the words. So long as you have to draw your understanding from the forms of words, you are likely to fall into much confusion about the true sense. But if in the silence of your mind you can rise into the world from which ideas descend to take form, at once the real understanding comes. If you are to be sure of understanding one another, you must be able to understand in silence. Our Divine Mother says, there is a condition in which your minds are so well attuned and harmonized together that one perceives the thought of the other without any necessity of words. But if there is not this attunement, there will always be some deformation of your meaning because to what you speak, the other mind supplies its own significance. I use a word in a certain sense or shade of its sense. You are accustomed to put into it another sense or shade. Then evidently you will understand not my exact meaning in it, but what the word means to you. This is true not to speech only, but of reading also. If you want to understand a book with a deep teaching in it, you must be able to read it in the mind's silence. You must wait and let the expression go deep inside you into the region where words are no more, and from there comes slowly back to your exterior consciousness and its surface understanding. But if you let the words jump at your external mind and try to adapt and adjust the two, you will have entirely missed their real sense and power. There can be no perfect understanding unless you are in union with the unexpressed mind that is behind the center of expression. Our Divine Mother says, We spoke once of individual minds as worlds that are distinct and separate from one another. Each is shut up in itself and has almost no direct point of contact with any other. But that is in the region of the inferior mind. There, your own formations close you in. You cannot get out of them or out of yourself. You can understand only yourself and your own reflection in things. But here in this higher region of unexpressed mind and its purer altitudes, you are free. When you enter there, you go out of yourself and penetrate into a universal mental plane in which each individual mental world is dipping as if into a huge sea. There you can understand entirely what is going on in another and read his mind as if it were your own, because there no separation divides mind from mind. It is only when you unite in that region with others that you can understand them. Otherwise, you are not attuned. You do not touch. You have no means of knowing precisely what is happening in another mind than yours. Most often, when you are in the presence of another, you are quite ignorant of what he thinks or feels. But if you are able to go beyond and above this external plane of expression, if you can enter into a plane where a silent communion is possible, then you can read in that other as you would in yourself. Then the words you use for your expression are of a very little importance, because the full comprehension lies beyond them in something else, and a minimum of words is sufficient for your purpose. Long explanations are not necessary there. You do not need that a thought should be brought into your full expression for the direct vision of what is meant with you, says our Divine Mother.